Welcome back to Bissell Maple Farms YouTube channel. I am Nate, and you're in my truck. Just got back from Jonathan's football game. I've been living in this thing. This is my office. I don't have an office at work because my truck is my office. I spend a lot of time in this truck. And it's been a lot of long nights. I've actually been sleeping in the Freightliner. It's true. I just didn't want to drive home, so I will just sleep in the Freightliner. There's a bed. It's got a bed, so I'll just stay there and shower in the Sugar Works. What I need is a flannel robe, so when I come in the morning, I'll have my flannel robe on, kind of match. Anyways, hey, if you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We are a maple syrup farm, and yeah, we make syrup, we bottle syrup. We're now making maple sugar. Anything maple, anything maple, that's us. But we do a lot of sugar house visits, and this is a special one today in Western New York. You have the Wendel family, and Marty and Nick, longtime maple family. They are equipment dealers. They buy a lot of bulk syrup. They buy a lot of Atlas Copco vacuum pumps from us. They're a great dealer, and glad that we found each other through the Leader Evaporator Dealer Network. And we'll be working for them, working with those guys for many, many years. But this video here is a tour of the Wendels, and I hope you enjoy it. Catch you at the end.
I was once bewildered on a clover leaf for 3 days, but I've never been lost.
But you were what? Bewildered on a clover?
Bewildered on a clover leaf for 3 days, but never lost.
Wendels, maple, and more.
Nate?
What's up?
Holy cow, I'm gonna be famous.
You already are, buddy. You're infamous. Well, this is nice. You got this pad.
Yeah, we'll have a loading dock here for you sooner than later.
Yeah, I saw that.
So we're building, this is our new warehouse that we just put up here last spring. It's not done yet. Nothing's ever finished up, feels like, but we'll be able to back, doesn't matter whether it's your size truck, 53-foot semi in here. We got a couple small trucks that are lower. We'll back in that dock. Right now, it's just a 3-foot height. The dock plate will be able to go down to 3 foot, or else we'll be able to raise up to a 4-foot height for standard semi trucks. So we'll be able to unload, maple equipment, jugs, containers, barrels, and then also be able to load out loads of syrup out that dock just as easy. Drive the forklift right on the truck.
Well, if our truck's too high, we could let a little air out of the tires.
And we could do that, or just raise up the ramp a little higher.
Wow. Pretty high tech there, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Got to be, I'm trying to think of the word I'm looking for. Got to be universal.
Universal.
Versatile.
Versatile. Yeah. I like it. So.
Yeah.
Yep. Brand new dock plates, way too much money, so build it ourselves, try to save some money, and that's why I don't have any time. So,
That and your pumpkin chunkers.
Pumpkin chunkins, chicken barbecues, Erie County Fair, everything keeps me busy right now. So this area here is actually, this was new, this will be expanded showroom, if you will, but we're actually going to put a second floor in here for all containers. Anybody in the maple industry knows that containers are pain in the butt to get, takes a long time. So I'll actually have enough warehouse space upstairs for about 3 semi-loads of containers to last all season. Downstairs here will be tubing, main line, glass, stuff like that. So, and we'll walk right here into the main showroom, where we are, this is the maple equipment showroom, where obviously everything's in stock here, whether it's fittings, glass, tubing, evaporators, reverse osmosis, filters, bottles. I don't know. I've probably said everything twice, but this is one-stop shop here in Western New York for maple equipment.
What kind of equipment do you sell?
Mainly Leader Evaporator and H2O. I actually sold for both companies before they combined. They're great companies, the two of them together separately, great together. Also direct for Sugar Hill Container, Markland Controls, Indiana Vacuum, Atlas Copco. I'm missing a few, I'm sure, but Artisan Printing of Vermont has a lot of nice glass bottles. So a couple years ago, I was contacted by my local county fair. They have a huge educational building called the Ag Discovery Center. And it's a huge building. There's lots of different aspects there. They actually have a robot milker for a cow operating there. They have a regular milking parlor. They've got where a kid can milk. They call it Milkable Mabel. Where they can practice milking a plastic fiberglass cow. There are actually cows that are calving inside the building. They've got pigs. They've got goats. They had a blacksmith shop, and they decided that they wanted to update to something a little more relatable to people. We put a sugar house in there. And they were looking for something that was kind of vintage looking, and I was able to come across a 2x6 evaporator that my dad had owned when he was 12 or 15 years old. He used it for just a single year, sold it, and I was able to buy it back from that same guy.
Your dad, Marty?
My dad, Marty. Yep.
Now, did that come over on the Ark?
It might have. It might have. It feels like it was a million years ago, but it was a Dominion. I'm sorry, it wasn't Dominion. It was a GH Grimm arch, and the pans and the sides were shot from the original, but we had new stainless sides put on it and stainless pan, and I boil on it at the Erie County Fair every afternoon and do demonstrations for people and educate people about making syrup. So it's pretty cool that the same arch he boiled on, well, probably almost 50 years ago, I'm boiling on now, just for demonstration's sake. But
did it put a grin on his face?
He'll help me every now and again, and I think he has more fun than I do doing it, and I have a ball, so. It's amazing. I think we're at a real unique point in this industry where, looking at the small hobby RO machines, just probably 15 or 20 years ago, if you talked about using a reverse osmosis in your maple, in your maple system, your production, a lot of people asked, is that good for the syrup? Or, does the syrup taste bad? Or, it was a minority to use reverse osmosis. And between the liter micros and other smaller products like the RO bucket, I think we're at a point now where it's not a minority using an RO anymore. It's the minority of people not using an RO.
Right.
And if somebody says that they don't use an RO, we think they're crazy. So it's a pretty unique time in the industry where we're transitioning from being the minority to the majority. So kind of cool. And before the micros come out, the cheapest RO was 12 grand. That was no hobby.
Right.
You recognize that 2x10, Nate?
This guy?
That's the one that was down to.
So you didn't get it sold?
I didn't get it sold yet. I thought I had it sold this spring, but.
Yeah. Well, I thought you had it sold when we brought it back here.
I thought so too, but. Yep.
Too much money?
Just different things fell through for whoever was looking at it.
Do you want to show the evaporator around?
Let me turn all the lights on. Give me just a second. So this is our sugar house. We built this. Our first year boiling in here was 2013, so it's been 10 seasons in here now. Our old sugar house is actually, if you look behind you, there's this at the bottom left here. This is a depiction of our old original sugar house. So Dad was in that one for 40 years. And if there was 3 people in the sugar house, somebody was sitting too close to the evaporator. It was just wasn't big enough. And we wanted to have something that we could show off and something where we could do like Maple Weekend is big in New York, where we can have hundreds of people in here at any given time, giving tours and educating them. And of course, sampling and try to sell them syrup. So this is our evaporator in our sugar house here. We've got a loft that goes all the way around upstairs where people can look down on the evaporator. They can see in the pans, see us boiling without being too close, without being, risk of getting burnt, stuff like that. So a lot of fun. We've actually turned into a venue now where we've rented out for bridal showers, baby showers, birthdays, stuff like that. So
how did you get the bark to stay on this tree?
Keeping bark on a tree like that all has to do with the time of year that you cut it. And I can't remember exactly what the right time of year is, but it all has to do with the sap being in the right spot for the bark to stay on a tree after you cut it like that.
So on your evaporator, if you have a mouse fall in there while you're boiling, how do you handle that?
Well, it depends what state you're from.
Uh-huh.
The way I handle it is we'll take that out and we'll have to ditch that batch of syrup. There's no mice in here in the first place. I don't have to worry about that. But if you're a sugar maker from Pennsylvania, you throw all the syrup away. If you're a sugar maker from New York, normally you just pull the mouse out and you chuck it and you keep on making syrup. If you're a sugar maker from Vermont, you wring that mouse out and make sure all the sap's out of them. So I've got all different glass here, tins up on the shelf, different collection of tins.
How do you get all these tins?
So everything, these ones are ones that I've had or collected. I have added to it, but most of that tin collection starting at that point, most of them that are up there I bought as a collection.
Have you ever put the syrup in cans and then used that crank thing to put the lid on?
No. I talked to a guy from CDL, and CDL is hoping that it catches on here in the States, but I don't think it will.
We saw it up in Canada quite a bit. But
Merleys do it, and it just doesn't. American customers want a screw top. They want something that's easy to open, easy to close, easy to reseal. They see a soup can like that, and they think, I need to use it all at once.
now,
What's this here for?
That's an antique.
yeah,
That's more collectible than some of the tins. You can't get her anymore. So for in the fall, we have pumpkins, we sell retail pumpkins here. And I have pumpkin chunker we'll set up just across the street and we'll throw them up over the hill. And so from where the machine sets up just in the corner of the field to the top of the hill is 1,500 feet, depending on the exact spot.
Getting them into the trees?
Over the trees.
Oh my gosh. How many feet is that?
I'm sorry?
How many feet?
Around 1,500 feet, 2,000 feet, depending on the throw. But our best throw with that machine was 2,670 feet. We did that in Dayton, Ohio, at Wright Brothers Aircraft Museum, the Air Force Museum there. We shot, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, we shot 2,670 feet.
Is that half a mile?
It's over half a mile. Yep. Been a personal goal since we've been doing it. And it was almost 10 years to the day since we started building the machine that we threw. Finally, it took us 10 years, but we threw a half mile.
Jeez.
So
Now, the special pumpkins, too. You can't just use...
Yeah. Yeah, your standard, orange jack-o'-lanterns don't take the G-forces very well. What we're throwing is basically a vegetable version of a bowling ball. They're almost solid. They're actually a squash, in the squash family. The machine, when it fires, it's a counterweight, so the counterweight's falling. And from the time you pull the trigger to the time the pumpkin leaves the machine is about 2 seconds. But the first second and a half, the pumpkin accelerates from about, from 0 to about 30 miles an hour. The last half a second, it goes from 30 miles an hour to over 300. So the G-forces are just phenomenal. We haven't been able to test them yet. And sometimes the pumpkins just don't live. Sometimes the pumpkin just goes poof, and it disappears. Nothing hits the ground. But
gunshot residue.
Mm-hmm. We're planning on, I don't know exactly, we're planning on going to Dayton still this year. It'll be Columbus Day weekend Saturday, if you wanted to try to
October?
Go to that, yeah.
Nice.
I don't know if that's closer for you or not, but...
No, this is way closer.
So...
just think how far you could throw them in Denver.
There's guys that have thrown a mile in Denver.
Mile high.
Well, the air is thinner. Less resistance for the pumpkin. So, yep. Cool.
Tough to beat that. You got a whole kitchen in here for doing things?
Yep, yeah, packaging. We make maple popcorn, different candies and creams and sugars. This is
candy machine?
Yeah. This is all tap hole maple around those windows too, Nate.
Is it really? I see that. Devastating right here. Oh, yeah.
The bottom's really riddled.
Oh, yeah. It's cool.
Took that to the county fair sometimes, depends on what we're doing.
Huh. You're really into maple, aren't you?
Well, as much as I can be. So.
There's always more.
There's always more. Got invited to the Mid-Ohio Growers Meeting in January. Yep.
Is that Earlston's area?
Is that his area?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
He's Mansfield, Ohio, yeah.
Move this out of your way when you walk through.
Is this your loader?
This is one of my barrel grabbers, one of my barrels, so I can use this machine here. I can lift, grab onto a barrel, and then tip it. So, one of my auction finds I couldn't turn down.
Heck yeah, man. Can you crush a barrel with that?
I can't. I haven't hurt one yet. A plastic barrel, you can squish them pretty hard, but you just get enough to grab it and you're fine. I have never broke or crushed one yet. Not with that.
Do you use a
Refrigerated bulk for concentrate?
Yes.
Not yet. I will this fall,
right.
this spring. Yep.
Yeah,
Concentrate.
That's the new RO, right? I mean,
Well, it's just a way to hold. So we're oversized here quite a bit on boiling capacity, and the small runs just don't have enough sap to boil. So I'm hoping to take a small run, RO it, store it in the cold tank. Next small run, hopefully have enough in one boil.
how big's your
That's a 1,500 gallon refrigerated concentrate tank.
Gotcha. How many gallons of these days?
6,300 each.
Well built.
Very sturdy tanks. H2O has been, I've sold dozens upon dozens of those tanks around Western New York, and they've been very, very good tanks. Very happy with them. So, I think I remember.
Mezzanine in here.
Well, this was actually originally just an upper storage area. Since we added on to the warehouse, this is actually going to get finished off, and that's going to be another, call it like a meeting room to add to the venue upstairs.
Gotcha.
So it's still storage right now, but it will be not storage. So. Back out to the main warehouse and a bunch of syrup ready to sample and ship out.
Cool. So how many pounds we got on here?
27 something.
27,000.
Yeah.
That's gross.
Yeah, gross weight.
Okay. Cool. And then we have 2 pallets in the middle to space it, and then we ended up with 4 on a pallet in the back, 4 55s. So a total of 52 drums. So thanks for stopping by, checking out the episode. Yeah, anytime I get a chance to visit a sugar house and those individuals are okay with it, I do like to tell their story and share it with others, because sugar house tours are a really cool part of what we do, and glad I get to share it. If you notice, I actually am making this intro and outro with a new cell phone. This is a Galaxy S23 Plus. My old S20, I've burned up 2 cell phones making YouTube videos the last 2 years, so I have destroyed many, many GoPros and 2 S20s that finally just it just wasn't working. So this is my new camera for filming for you guys, and I believe this will be in 4K. I'm not sure, but it can film 8K, which is cool. But yeah, we're gonna try to up the ante on the footage, on the quality. So yeah, thanks for stopping by. Catch you in the next episode.